Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to all the sincere believers. Now, this lesson is going to be based on this article where the headline is 4 dead and 30 vehicle pileup in Colorado as powerful winds slam planes, fueling multiple wildfires. So through the Spirit, I'm going to read this article, get some precepts, and Lord's will you're edified. It says at least 4 people are dead in a multi-vehicle pileup in Colorado, and multiple fires are breaking out across the plains as powerful winds wreak havoc across the region, forcing thousands to evacuate. The pileup on Interstate 25, south of Pueblo, Colorado, involving over 30 vehicles, occurred after winds gusted up to 61 miles per hour, blowing dust and dirt around, reducing visibility and causing brownout conditions. In addition to the 4 deaths, at least 29 people were taken to the hospital with injuries, according to the Colorado State Patrol. Their injuries were described as minor to moderate, with a few described as serious. The visibility was next to nothing, Colorado State Police Major Brian Lyons said, describing the wind event as moving in very quickly. Said more than 750,000 people in parts of 5 states across the plains on Tuesday are facing level 3 of 3 extremely critical fire weather conditions, damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour, extremely dry air, and ample dead, dry vegetation. The National Weather Service called it a rare, particularly dangerous situation in a red flag warning. Said a wildfire that broke out in Woodward, Oklahoma, a city of about 12,000 residents in northwestern Oklahoma, forced 3,000 to 4,000 people to evacuate in the southwest quadrant of the city. The Woodward County Emergency Manager, Matt Lihenbauer, told CNN affiliate Coco. The majority of these evacuation orders were lifted by late Tuesday. Northwestern Oklahoma State University's Woodward campus was evacuated and closed until further notice because of the fires, the school said on X. Another fire that broke out earlier in the morning in Beaver County, Oklahoma, rapidly crossed into southwest Kansas in just a few hours. The Ranger Road fire had burned about 15,000 acres by Tuesday afternoon, but by Tuesday evening, it had exploded to an estimated 145,000 acres, according to the Oklahoma Forestry Service. The Ranger Road fire traveled 65 miles from Oklahoma into Kansas and forced evacuations of more than 11,000 people in the towns of Inglewood, Ashland, and Tyrone, according to CNN affiliate. Smoke billowed from the plains as a farmer raced to dig a fire line near Hooker, Oklahoma. A video from Jaden Pappenheim at Severe Studios showed. It says winds whipped and livestock fled as first responders tried to quell the intense flames, another video showed. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt said he was being briefed on the fire response and is coordinating with the state's Forestry Service and emergency management agencies, as well as local first responders. Said with high fire danger expected to continue over the next several days, I urge all Oklahomans to remain alert, follow evacuation orders, and avoid any activity that could spark new fires, the governor said in a post on X. Stitt requested air assets from Texas to help with the fires in his state, but it's been too windy to fly, the governor told Coco. Said, I've instructed all the forestry assets from the eastern part of the state that are already on their way. Most of them are already there, just to put every fire hose we have in every bulldozer. Make sure that we get those lines prepared. We've got quite a mess going on. We're still coordinating, trying to get more firefighters, Leon Bauer, the county emergency manager, told Coco. Farther south, officials issued a fire warning Tuesday evening in the Texas Panhandle for a dangerous wildfire about 18 miles northwest of Amarillo, Texas, that was moving east at 3 to 5 miles per hour. It says wind gusts cranked up across a widespread area in the plains and increased through the afternoon. Burlington, Colorado clocked a gust of 71 miles per hour, and gusts over 60 miles per hour were observed in western Kansas and the Oklahoma and Texas panhandle. It says past wildfires sparked in similar conditions have been devastating. 2024's Smokehouse Creek fire in the Texas Panhandle, the state's largest wildfire, burned through more than 500 structures. The fire weather concerns peaked Tuesday afternoon when winds were strongest and relative humidity bottomed out between 10 and 15%. Conditions will remain dangerous into the early evening hours before easing up overnight. Another storm could kick up winds and increase fire danger to critical conditions, the second highest level, tomorrow afternoon in the southern high plains from eastern New Mexico and West Texas into the Oklahoma Panhandle, southwest Kansas, and southeast Colorado. Yeah, so powerful winds, wildfires, 4 people already dead. Yeah, just signs of the last days that we're clearly living in. 2 Timothy 3:1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. And I have the definition of perilous here. It says full of danger or risk. Dangerous. And you click on dangerous. It says likely to cause problems or have adverse consequences. And we are living in those times. We're living in very dangerous times. All these storms and tempests and fires and earthquakes of the Lord are just happening so much more frequently. Just as the men of the Lord, starting of course with the apostles and elders at Great Millstone, have been saying was going to take place. And in Ecclesiasticus 39:28, it says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force. Salakia. They pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. In verse 29 it says, fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. And then in verse 30 it says, teeth of wild beasts, scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. And in the article that I just read, 4 people died in a vehicle pileup. So that spirit of vengeance, that death angel, is out there executing the judgments of the Lord. You see, the Lord, he's not playing around in these last days. He's letting it be known that he is angry with these wicked people, like it says in Psalm 7 and 11, that Yahweh judgeth the righteous, and Yahweh is angry with the wicked every day. And myself as well, I've been saying that in these last days, these judgments were going to get a lot more intense and more frequent, and more people were going to be getting wounded and killed. And that article that I just read was a prime example of that happening. Isaiah 29 and 6. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord Yahweh of hosts with thunder, and with earthquake, and great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. And out there, in that article that I read, those people got hit with a flame of devouring fire, which is those wildfires, and they got hit with a tempest. And when you look up the definition of tempest, it means a violent, windy storm. And they got hit with a lot of high winds that was just pushing the fires, causing the fire to spread in whatever direction the Lord wanted it to go in. And this is why I said that I believe if we make it to the summer, things are going to get so much more chaotic. The heat waves, I believe the wildfires are just going to explode. And it's just going to be wildfires just spawning just all over the place. Like it's already started. And it's not even summer yet. The temperatures are not even that high yet. And you already have wildfires breaking out, causing destruction, forcing people to have to evacuate from their homes. So if it's that serious now, and it's not even summer, it's not even that close to summer, just imagine what's going to happen when it is summer, and when the temperature skyrockets, and there's a bunch of heat waves going on. Imagine how bad these wildfires are going to be then. Deuteronomy 32:39. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no power with me. I kill, and I make alive. I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. And that's right. And through his various judgments, the Lord wounds and kills people daily. And in that article, 4 people died. And they said at least 29 people had varying degrees of injuries. Some minor, some moderate, some serious. First Samuel 2 and 6. The Lord Yahweh killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. That's right. So those people who died, the Lord ultimately killed them. He put them in that situation that they ended up in, which resulted in their death. It was not a random situation. It was not an accident. The Lord set that whole thing in motion to bring forth his judgment upon those people. So yes. Moving very slow. Hang on. Salakia, Satan trying to hinder. Job 4 and 7, remember I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? And the answer is that nobody has perished being innocent. So those 4 people who died, they were not innocent in the eyes of the Lord. That's why they didn't survive the situation that the Lord placed them in. They didn't survive the judgment that the Lord brought upon. Verse 8, even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. And that's exactly what's happening in these last days. These wicked people who have angered the Lord and who daily provoke him unto wrath are now reaping what they've sown in the form of the judgments of the Lord being brought upon them. That's why people are getting wounded and killed on a daily basis, because they have to receive their punishment for angering the Lord. See, the men of the Lord have been warning people that all that wickedness that they've been doing, it was going to catch up to them eventually. And now we're in that time where the vengeance and the anger and the wrath and the fury and the sore strokes from the Lord are being dished out upon these people. Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Verse 2, a time to be born, and a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted. And for those 4 people, it was their time to die, plain and simple. That's why out of everyone that was involved, they're the ones who got injured, they're the ones who died. Because according to the will of the Lord, it was their time. And there's nothing that you can do against the will of the Lord. You know, whatever the Lord decides he wants to happen, it's going to happen. And see, these people, these wicked, simple-minded people in these last days, they're going to find out that the Lord is very much real and that he is angry. You know, he's not some soft, passive power that they think he is. You know, he's not just turning a blind eye to their wickedness. Everything happens at an appointed time. So just because the Lord may not judge them right then and there in the midst of their wickedness doesn't mean that he's not going to judge them at some point. And we see that happen all the time. Like people will be out shopping or at a festival or something, you know, just casual things, nothing wicked. And then they'll get judged. The Lord will, in some way, shape, or form, bring judgment upon them. Because the Lord decides when judgment is going to get executed upon somebody. And in a lot of cases, the Lord executes that judgment when those people least expect it. You know, when they're at a restaurant or they're just hanging out somewhere. You know, completely just oblivious to what's happening around them. That's when the Lord sends that judgment. That's when that judgment creeps upon these people like a thief in the night. And they never see it coming. And this is why I've said before that you cannot predict what the Lord is going to do. The Lord moves on his own time. He does things when he wants to, and he does them how he wants to. And he targets whomever he wants to, whether it be men, women, or children. Because if you're wicked, then you are wicked regardless of who you are. And articles like this are just a reminder to those of us of the hopeful elect that we are living in the last days and that the judgments of the Lord are going to continue to intensify and be destructive and be deadly. These last days are not going to be peaceful. They're going to be chaotic and violent and scary. And this is why brothers are saying that we have to continue to fear the Lord, because the Lord is daily showing you what he's going to be doing in these last days. He's going to be causing a lot of destruction and a lot of deaths. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. In closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakudash, the Wadi Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Honors to our brothers who are still fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. And shalom to other sincere believers. Hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up. Adawan Ratazah. Till next time, shalom.